Hey you guys, let's do lunch again. Domino's. It's $7 for $7.99. You can do it. Pick up pizza. 3 toppings. $7.99 plus tax, and you pick it up yourself. We got pepperoni, sausage, and onions. I'm excited. I'm gonna get this marbled brownie someday, but I'm afraid I'll eat the whole thing. So I keep putting it all. Somebody was asking me to tell you guys a story. When I had a panic attack inside the St. Louis Arch. It was fun to have lunchtime and story time together. Anyways, I guess this was kids were in grammar school. I guess this was in the 90s. Every summer we packed up the family truckster and we drive around the United States. All the in-laws lived in the Midwest, so we'd head out that way, but we always drove around. We got such a wonderful education driving around the United States. Anyway, we had passed by St. Louis Arch many times. My husband kept saying, one day we're going to go up there. And it was, it was like a fun thought. How kids were in grammar school. I ended up this one summer, we stopped at the St. Louis Arch, and we're in there, we're having a good time, we're getting ready to go up in the pod, and I don't remember having any reservations about doing it, although in 2020 hindsight is always helpful. I just should have known that I would have occasional claustrophobic issues. And so honestly, I think that's what brought it on. This little closed claustrophobic pod. So there we are. We're in line. It's our turn. We get in the pod. And I'm having fun. I'm thinking, that's amazing how they can get this little pod to roll up. Everybody's loving the moment. We're having a good time. Then, within a split second, the second I get inside the pod to sit down, we went from air conditioning to no air conditioning, and I could feel the heat. And I think it was the warm weather condition inside the pod. I felt claustrophobic coming on, and I didn't say anything. I just sat there because I didn't want to, really say anything if it was a false alarm. But it was not a false alarm. It was a real alarm. And I'm looking out, and I'm looking at my family, and the door started to shut, and I bolted out of my seat so fast with both my hands, like trying to pry the door back open as it's closing, and it did not close. And if I recall correctly, I think I stuck my foot in the door. I was screaming, screaming at the top of my lungs, bloody murder, let me out. was terrible. And the people on the outside of the pod, I'm so grateful for it because they weren't shocked or astonished or fearful, or they didn't take out their riot gear or their police batons thinking I was a crazy person. So my thought is that has happened many times to others. And they were very, just as nice as they could be about it. And I remember saying, I can't go up there, I can't go up there. And I was grabbing my throat and my chest. And I was doing like deep breathing exercises so I wouldn't pass out. Anyways, I remember looking back, because like one of my daughters was saying, is it Mom coming? Something. So that didn't linger on for much longer. And then, so they went in the pod, and so I went somewhere to sit down. I'm thinking I went downstairs. I can't recall exactly, but I was kind of far away from the actual entrance into the pod. For some reason, I think maybe I'd gone downstairs. It was like a big, nice air-conditioned place where people were walking around. But this was a lot of years ago, so I might have my location incorrect. But for some reason, I thought I had gone downstairs. And the ride, you had to go upstairs to get onto the ride. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. But what I wanted to tell you is that it's funny now when you think of it, but when it's happening, oh my goodness, it's so terribly real. And how our minds, I'm still amazed at how powerful our mind is. Do you know that even after I was away from the situation and I was sitting peacefully and calmly downstairs, then I started thinking of my family in there, thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to them if the pod gets stuck or they're trapped in there? Because it was pretty warm inside there. In comparison to the nice air conditioner place where we were. Do you know, I had to stop my brain from thinking about that, because I could have worked myself up into a whole nother panic attack thinking about them. Moral of the story is live and learn. Always look for the lesson in life's little experiences. Oh my goodness. And I'm trying to gauge appropriately the exact year, because I believe, I'm kind of a little confused, because I believe those were the years I was on, back in the day, I was on Prozac and Xanax. So I'm trying to figure out, how did that happen? Is claustrophobia a whole nother thing that Prozac and Xanax doesn't cover? You need a special pill for claustrophobia. So anyways, terrible. And if you guys are ever around somebody that's claustrophobic, it's not fun for you either. And of course, it's not fun for the person going through the moment, but it's not fun to... I remember seeing... this is a side note as I'm thinking, because this happened to me. I was an onlooker. My sister, of all people. And she's a beanpole. And for some reason, I never knew she had claustrophobia. And so we're at a family event. And it's like a formal family event. My dad and everybody. And we're in this huge round corner table where you can sit like 10 or 11 people. It's just huge. And I'm sitting kind of near the end because my kids were little at the time. So my sister is across the table. It's a very big table. Her face went so white. And her hands grabbed the tabletop like she was sinking. I'll never forget the sound of her hands grabbing the tabletop. It was like, she really grabbed it hard. And she's a dainty girl. And her face went white. She says, I gotta get out of here. And she was dressed up real pretty. We're all sitting there. We have no clue she's claustrophobic because she doesn't say. She doesn't say, I need to get out of, I'm having a claustrophobia. She doesn't say that. She just, I gotta get out of here. She grasps the tabletop and she starts dunking. She starts dunking her head, trying to get. She starts dunking her head, trying to get out of the table from underneath. And this is so unusual behavior for her because she's such just a little dainty, proper person. Well, anyways, then when she realizes that she's so squished in, she can't even dunk herself underneath to get out of the table. She says louder, I'm getting sick, I have to get out. So everybody scrambles the one side of the table, kind of that she was closer to, scrambles to get out. And it was all the senior people who were slow movers. And I remember her saying, hurry, hurry, hurry. Oh, that's terrible. I can't believe how I laugh at other people's trouble. That's terrible. But it had a good ending. And she no sooner got out of there, and then she was normal. She went from Panic Pete. She went from hysterical panic to her normal old perfect self after she got, okay, she just said, okay, thank you. She said, can I sit on the end? And so anyways, that was fun. I'm sorry, I got cackling again, you guys. So that was my claustrophobia stories. In the St. Louis Arch. My sister in the fancy food booth. I'm trying to remember where we were, but it was a good event, and the tables were reserved. Anyway, well, this was one. Let's do lunch again. I did KFC, and the pizza.